Good day everyone. I am Gio Perey and I will be presenting our final project for CCS 108 or Object Oriented Programming. Our program is called the Retail Ordering System. This system is designed to manage customer purchases by organizing them into structured transactions where each transaction contains multiple ordered items with their corresponding quantities and unit prices. The system supports two customer classifications, regular and VIP. Regular customers follow standard pricing, meaning their computation factor is 1.00. So the final amount is equal to the transaction subtotal. VIP customers on the other hand receives a 15% discount, giving them a computation factor of 0.85, which is applied after the subtotal is computed. Each customer performs two transactions, and each transaction contains multiple items. So the system computes three things per transaction. First, the item subtotal, which is quantity multiplied by unit price. Second is the transaction subtotal, which is the sum of all item subtotals. And third, the final amount, which is the transaction subtotal multiplied by the customer's computation factor. For the output, all regular customer transactions are displayed first, followed by VIP customer transactions. Each output includes a full breakdown, the items ordered, the subtotal, the applied computation factor, and the final payable amount. Those are the key features of our retail ordering system. My groupmates will now walk you through the technical implementation of the program, starting with our class structure and OOP concepts applied. So that's all for my part and thank you.
So, dawn greetings, Sir Jano. So, I am Jan Michael Atchico from 2ITC. So, here in my part, the classes customer class, which acts as the blueprint and marks also the abstract for the customer. So, it is because you cannot only have a generic customer um, in a real store. This will have to be either a regular customer or a VIP customer to know what will be the charge. And later on, we will be discuss the get computation factor for the abstract methods for this abstract. So here we have the um, variable customer attribute for the variable name, and we have also the attributes for the customer type. We have also the list of the transactions and also the constructor for the customers, which have a parameter name and the customer type. And we also have the transaction with a with also a array list. Then we have the getter methods for the get name and the get customer type. Then here, as we um, discussed before, so we have the get computation factor, which have a abstract to know if um, to implement by the subclasses. Those subclasses is for the regular customer and the VIP customer. So we have also the adding for the methods for adding transaction and the item to transact. So it only acts as a remote control, um, which allows the person running the program to easily add items to a specific receipt just by using the customer's name without having a mess around with the complicated inner code. So we also have the method for displaying the transactions for the name, transaction for the name and the customer type, and we'll also uh, looping the transaction that will be display the computation factor. So we also have the nested transaction class, and for the nested ordered item class. So we use composition by nesting those transaction and ordered item class inside, which basically means an order cannot exist in the system unless it belongs to a specific customer. So inside the transaction, we have transaction label and the ordered ah, list of the items ordered, and the constructor for the transaction class, which has a um, parameter transaction label and array list for the items. So we have also the methods for adding the items for the transactions and compute the subtotal for the transactions. And in this one, we collect the uh, computed item subtotal of the items. Then we will return the subtotal. And for this one, which will um, compute the final amount of the customer, which have a parameter, double, factor, that will be multiplied by the computed subtotal of the items. And then here we will only display the methods with the um, right columns in it with its variable for getting the name, getting the quantity, unit price, and the item subtotal. And then in here, we will collect the compute subtotal and the final amount. And this one will be printing those subtotal, factor, and also the final amount. So in here for the ordered item class, we have the attributes for the string item name, int quantity, and the double unit price. So we have the constructor for it, which is which have a parameter string item name for the quantity and the unit price. And the getter methods for each attributes, and then the methods for computing the item subtotal, which will be um, multiplying the quantity and the unit price. So that's all.
So greetings, Sir Janus. I am Axel, and for today I will gonna be explaining our regular customer class and the VIP customer class. So first, our regular customer class and VIP customer class extends from our customer class, which is a abstract class, and our subclasses inherits all of the attributes of the customer class, such as the name, customer type, and the list of transactions. And then here, we have here a method called getComputationFactor. And this is an abstract method. And this abstract method is overridden to our regular customer class and the VIP customer class. So let's start with the regular customer class. So in our regular customer class, our getComputationFactor has a return value of 1. So this means that the regular customers doesn't have discounts to their purchases. And then next, we have here the VIP customer class. So our VIP customer class has a 0.85 return value for the get computation factor method. So this means that the VIP customers have 15% discount to their purchases. So polymorphism is demonstrated to this kind of relationship because we uh, we used only one reference type for the both of the classes uh, and the get computation method is overridden to the regular customer class and the VIP customer class.
So, dangal greetings, Sir Janus. I will now explain how the transaction and computation and how the computation of the final price works. So, inside this main method, we have called the display transactions method. And inside this method, we also call the display transactions of the user for each general transaction of the user. Inside this method, we look through the ordered items list of the user using a for each loop and display its details. And next, we identify the subtotal amount for each general transactions using this compute subtotal method that also loops through each order item of the user and returns its subtotal. Next, we compute the final amount using this compute final amount method that accepts a factor parameter which identifies the discount for the user. So inside this compute final amount method, we just compute the subtotal of each general transaction and multiply it by the factor or the discount that the user is getting, which is for VIP there is no discount, and for for the VIP there is a 15% discount, and for regular customers there are a no discount. There is no discount. So to explain more this computation, let's look at the output of the test case 1 of John, which is a regular customer which do not apply a discount. So here we have a order item. We have two order items for book and pen. So next we compute each order item subtotal, which is 300 and 100 pesos. And then we add the 300 and 100 to get the subtotal of the ordered item, which is 400 pesos. And then we identify the computation factor, which is 1% or multiplied by 1, and compute the final amount, which is 400, which do not apply any discounts because John is a regular customer. Unlike here at the transaction of Maria, there is a subtotal amount of 350, which she also have a discount of 15%, and the final amount she gets is 297, which is the discounted cost for a VIP customer. And that's all. Thank you.
So, dangal greetings, Sir Janus. My name is Dranzer Peralta, and I'm the one assigned at the main class of our system. So, what does our main class do? So, basically, our main class is assigned, the main class focuses on creating the customers, which is the regular, which is John, and the VIP, which is Maria. And after creating a customer, they can now make a transaction while adding their items in the transaction. So after adding all that, the main class displays all the transactions that the customers have made. For example, we have here John, which is transaction 1. When you run the program, we have here the items that John have added in his transaction, which is the book, which is quantity of 2, which is 300, and pen, which costs 20 pesos times 5 is equal to 100. And we have here the computation factor that shows 1.00. The computation factor that has a 1.00 represents a regular customer type. So we also have here another transaction coming from John, which is a notebook which costs 50 pesos, and multiply that by 3, we have here 150. We also have here a calculator which costs 600, and it only has a quantity of 1, so basically it will have a result of 600, and the subtotal, which is 750 pesos. And the computation factor is 1.00, which means that it's another regular transaction, and so there's no discount applied. So as you can see in another transaction, which is Maria, which is a VIP customer type. So we can see here that the items is 1 book which costs 150, and 4 notebooks which cost 300. So 200, I mean. So the subtotal is 350, the computation factor is 0.85, and the final amount is 297.50. The 0.85 here represents a discount because Maria is a VIP customer and it was deducted on the final amount of her transaction. So for another transaction, we have here a two calculator which costs 1.2, and backpack which costs 800 pesos. So the subtotal is 2,000 pesos, and the computation factor is 0.85, which means Maria will have a discount of 0.85, and the final amount is 1,700 pesos. And how does main class communicates with the system? Well, basically, main Java is only communicating with the customer.java file, which is a abstract file, as we can see here, the abstract, which has a inner class of transaction and ordered item. As we can see here, here's the nested transaction and the nested ordered item, as we can see here. And we also use here a inheritance, and by the way, customer is a parent class and the child class is regular customer and VIP customer. We also use here a polymorphism, which is the wait, let me see. Here's the polymorphism good computation factor. Good computation factor, which is this display transaction get computation factor inside. So, wait, where's the main? So we can see here display transaction. When the display transaction is called, as we can see here, the get computation factor is repeatedly being called. So how does it affect the program? It depends. If the regular customer is called, it will basically get this computation factor of 1.00, and it will affect the overall computation of the final amount of the transaction. So for example, if the instance if the instance is regular, it will only have a 1.00, which means there is no discount. And if the customer is VIP, it will have a computation factor of 0.85, and it will be multiplied in the final amount to get a discounted price. For example, we have here a subtotal of 350, but since Maria is a VIP customer, we have here a discount of 0.85, So the final amount that she has to pay is 297.50. And the well the over the OOP concepts that were used is first abstract, inheritance, um, composition. We have here the inner class of inner class of transaction and the ordered item. We also have here a polymorphism, which is the compute subtotal. Compute subtotal, which is here the computation factor. We also use a encapsulation here. And that's all for my main class. Thank you, Sir Janus.